Hey everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge podcast. I am pumped today. Why do you ask, am I pumped? Well, it's a good question. Let's get to it. Okay, so big effing giant news just dropped like today, I think it was, or yesterday. I'm not sure which day it was. There's been some legislation proposed in House Bill 2032 by State Representative Barry Wicks. First read 2 days ago, referred to Committee on Civil Rights and Judiciary. Now, I don't know a ton about how laws are created and stuff like that. I know it's really just about greasing the palms of politicians. That's all it is. Basically, Anyway, I'm not going to get political because this is really, really effing good news right now. I want to read you some things. Basically, the proposal is they're going to be putting protections in place for kids on social media. Woo-hoo-hoo! Hell yeah! You serious? That's amazing. Bits, did you hear the news? No, I know. I was just about to read it. No, I know. So cool. Aloha, pineapple. I'm just so excited. Okay, now I know this is preliminary. Shit like this often doesn't even get made into law, but at least the conversation has started. And if this does get passed into law, whoo boy, YouTube is gonna have to change some shit. TikTok's gonna have to change some shit. Instagram, oh my gosh, everybody's like, why are you so happy about this, Josh? Why are you so happy at people's failure of their channels? Because, people, I got dressed up all Canadian for you to tell you this. Finally, someone is actually thinking of the kids before something big goes down. That's it. Barry Wicks, bruh, props. Anyway, let's read this thing. Being enacted by the legislature of the state of Washington. Whew, guys, I'm feeling it right now. I'm so excited, okay? The legislature finds that social media influencers can make significant amounts of money from the digital content they produce. Some influencers use their minor children as subjects of that content. Some? Like, this is billions of dollars, guys. I'm not even kidding you. Billions with a B. Those children are generating interest in and revenue for the content, but receive no financial compensation for their participation. Unlike in child acting, these children are not playing a part and lack legal protections. Now, I'm going to go back to this stupid argument I keep getting on TikTok. So are you against child actors? Well, yeah, I kind of am. Yes, but here's why it's a little bit different. Here's why it's a lot different. And I'll say it again. Like, I understand why you're saying it, but let me educate you. Coogan law protects children online. Coogan law protects children in the acting sphere. Okay? There are so many hoops people have to jump through to get kids on set. Okay? To do acting, all that kind of stuff. It is absolutely crazy. I did a video with a guy named Bobby Starbuck a little while ago about this, and it was crazy. Okay, they have to have tutors. They can't work more than 4 hours. They have to be fed. They have to do this. The money has to go into their account and be provable that it is going into their account. Okay. Now, they also can't give informed consent for them to be child actors. So I will agree with you on that one, that you just no way you slice it, you can't do it. That's why I like animated films, because awesome for my kids, right? And you know, that's a hard one. But at the same time, you also have to draw a distinction between a child actor who is acting as a character, okay, and a child vlogger who has their personal information, all that shit shared with everybody online. There's a major difference. A child actor is acting like somebody. You don't know a lot about their personal lives, okay, because they're acting. They're not sharing everything. And I said that in the last video about Laura Love. And that shit blew up. It's kind of crazy, that story. And so this news today was humongous because it stops people from Laura Love and Micah Stauffer and Weiss Life and Ace Family and LeBrance. I can name 100 of them. I can just go on and on and on. Okay? Our life. It stops them from being able to use minors illegally. But you know, they're just going to find a loophole. But let's continue reading. So I had to say that because people keep using that as an excuse and I hate it. The legislature finds that social media influencers who market video content of their families or vloggers can profit from the personal property rights of their children without restriction. Yes, some children are filmed with highly personal details of their lives shared on the internet for compensation from birth. Does this guy watch my videos? Bear, you watching my shit? I love it. In addition to a severe loss of privacy, these children receive no consideration for the use and exchange of their personal property rights. I didn't even think of that. I just talk about informed consent. But this is true. These children receive no consideration not compensation, consideration for the use and exchange of their personal property rights, which means when they get older, they didn't have a choice, and that's part of the informed consent thing. 3, the legislature intends to allow minors to receive proportional compensation for the use of specified personal property rights where their parents have reached a specified profit threshold from that use. The legislature also intends to provide for minors who exercise control over specified personal property rights upon reaching the age of majority, which is already, I can tell that's just a big giant, okay, what are you going to do when you turn 18? I already spent the money. So there's going to be tons of lawsuits based on this if this does pass, which is great. So parents might think twice, but they won't. We know that. Any parent who is willing to exploit their child on the internet, do you think they're going to give a shit about this stuff? They already have no moral fiber. So, but at least there's something that can happen. There's some teeth starting to develop in this area. Section 2. Unless the context clearly requires otherwise, the definition in this section applies to this chapter. Age of majority has the same meaning as provided in RCW, which I think is age of consent in that state. I'm going to read chapter 3, or I'm going to read section 3 here. A new section is added to chapter. A vlogger meeting the criteria under subsection 2 of this section must compensate the vlogger's minor child whose likeness, name, or photograph constitutes the video content meeting the criteria in subsection 2 on this section in accordance with subsection 3 and blah, blah, blah. This section applies to a vlogger meeting the following criteria at any time within the previous 12-month period. Now, I'll read it. The number of views received per video segment on any internet platform or network met the platform or network's threshold for generation of compensation, or the vlogger received actual compensation for video content equal to or greater than 10 cents per view. And that has to do with ad reads and things like that their children are in. At least 30% of the vlogger's compensated video content produced within a 30-day period, including the likeness, name, and photograph of the vlogger's minor child. Content percentage is measured by the percentage of time and likeness, name, or photograph of the vlogger's minor visually appears in the video, right? I'm just going to break this down for you, right? As compared to the total length of the segment. Basically, they're just saying, if it's all about the kid gets the money, right? A vlogger meeting the criteria in subsection 2 of this section must set aside gross earnings on the video, gross, including the likeness, name, or photograph of the vlogger's minor child in a trust. That's the Coogan law, very similar. To be preserved for the benefit of the minor upon reaching the age of majority, according to the following distribution. Where only one minor child meets the content threshold of this section, the percentage of total gross earnings in any video segment, including the likeness, name, or photograph of the vlogger's minor child that is equal to or greater than the content percentage, the minor child is described in subsection. So no wonder people don't want to read these. Where more than one minor child, anyway, they're just basically saying you have to put it aside. Upon the age of majority, any individual to whom as a minor child, section 3 of this act previously applied may request the permanent deletion of any video segment, including the likeness, name, or photograph of the individual from any internet platform or network that provided compensation to the individual's parent or parents in exchange for that video content. I get that and I like that, but it's the internet. It's the internet. It's there forever. So basically what they're saying, well, I'll deal with that later. Of course, I'll delete it, but it could be there forever. Some of the content that's on there. And I guess what it's putting in place now is anything that's created before this law, when they become the age of it, they can say delete everything. They have the right to say to their parents, delete it. So let's say Jess Fans Lilia, who's 11, turns 18 and says, I want all that content off that channel, every single thing you ever did. Or Gabrielle Weiss from The Weiss Life, who turns 18 in in a year. She can tell her parents, take it off, and if they don't, boom. Okay? That's really important for these kids. An internet platform or network must take all reasonable steps to permanently delete the video segment for which a request described in subsection 1 of this section has been made. Yes! Any contract with an internet platform or network for the exchange of use of video content that would reasonably be anticipated to include greater than a de minimis use of vlogger's minor child must include notification to the internet platform or network of the minor's child future rights as provided in this section. Man, this is good. Yeah. So basically what this guy has created is a Coogan law for kids on the internet. Now, this is a big deal because so many family vloggers like Love Meh have told us she's not going to pay her children.
What do you have set up for your kids financially for their futures? We actually don't have much, and we're doing that purposefully.
Right? Even there's a couple other vloggers who sit out there and say, my kid's going to have to send themselves to college. There are so many parents who already spent all the money. If you look at Sakona Jolie's, do you honestly believe that guy has a Range Rover and a Ferrari and he has money left? Ace family. They lost their home. They're going to be bankrupt. They're not going to be able to give their kids anything. Okay, Weiss life. Those kids use those kids in so many disgusting ways, and those kids don't get anything. Maybe an allowance, maybe they get a phone, they get to go to Target, buy whatever. Again, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. This isn't some like piddly amount of money. These people buy houses, Jess fam, everybody. They all hit a new house and do a new house walkthrough. Depends how long they're on the channel. If you're on 10 or more years, it's probably the second house walkthrough you're already going through, okay? There's so many people that buy their cars, that buy all the shit that they have in their homes, all the vacations they get to do. Of course, the kids get to partake in that stuff, but they throw that money in the garbage. They might have investments that will return, in time, and maybe are paying dividends right now as far as, crazy pieces is concerned and the big mansions that they buy. What are you going to do? How can you prove that you can do this when you just bought a $2.5 million mansion? Is each kid on the thing? Do they each get a percentage of it? No. Now there's going to be people digging through these family vlogs and finding out what they've spent. And then you can go to their AdSense, or you can go to like Social Blade and kind of do a generic look through of how much money they might use, but you get a ballpark, okay? And so people are going to go take that ballpark number that they've made over the period of time. Then they're going to run through their videos. I mean, I'm going to do this, okay? They're going to run through the videos and all the vacations, all the cars, all the homes, all the expensive shit they bought. They're going to be able to tally all that stuff up within a degree. And they're going to say, well, this person made this, and this is what they spent. And here's what's left for the kids, if they're going to give their kids money. Now, Jess Pham says that she's going to do this. She has a 10-year plan for her kids. And so if she does that, she's way ahead of the curve. I think that she does, but I don't think it's to the degree you guys think she does. Just saying. So this is a massive deal. I already can tell there's going to be loopholes. So family vlogging this isn't going to stop family vloggers at all, right? Like they're just going to find ways around it. Everybody can find a loophole in some degree or another, but at least now there's some teeth so that you can be prosecuted if you break these laws, right? And so any family vlogger from this point forward, if this gets passed, has to follow these strict guidelines. So you're going to, at minimum, you might start seeing less kids, which is great because they're like, well, I don't really use my kids that much, so I'm not going to put them on. Just there's no reason to put them on. But the channels that explicitly use just their children to grow, like the one I covered yesterday, I can name off 100 right now, where their kids are the main source of their income. Man, they're going to have a hard time because if those kids are on those vlogs 50% of the time, 50% of that revenue has to go to their kids. So they're going to lose 50% of the revenue that goes actually into their bank account. That's a big deal. So, I mean, they might do it, or they might just shirk it, and it's going to be up to a kid when they turn 18 to sue their parents, right? So a lot of this is going to be on those kids when they turn 18. Ruby Frank's kids, this is made for them. It's just tailor-made for Ruby Frank's kid. Now, I know Ruby Frank they give their kids, a nice life. They have a nice house, and they probably get an allowance, but I don't think she pays her children. Okay, and Ruby Frank has made millions of dollars off of YouTube. Okay, and when your kids turn of age, the lawsuits are gonna be so fun to cover when this all goes down. And you've got a couple of kids up and coming real soon in this world. Weiss, what's the one? Fizz Fam. You got a couple coming up in the ranks. Channels like LeBrant's and things like that use their kids explicitly, like Daniel Cohn, Piper Raquel. All these kids, their parents spend all their money. Right? Their parents literally throw it in the garbage. Piper Raquel's mom's going to jail anyway. There's a lot of big news going on right now in the world of family vlogging and exploitation of children, and we are here to cover it. It'll be interesting also to follow this bill to see who doesn't sign off on it. And I bet you there'll be a lot of conservatives who will say, no, I'm not signing off on this, right? Because this is a freedom that you're going to take away from your ability to be able to do whatever you want with your children in whatever way you want, And so that's what I think is going to happen here. And if that's the case, man, I'm going to be pissed because I consider myself center, a little bit more conservative. I will cover everybody who is going to dissent on this thing. What excuse could you possibly have to not give kids protection online who are being exploited? I would love to hear anybody's excuse to how this would be okay. I just can't wait for it. I'm very excited. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope this thing passes through like it's bipartisan. Everybody's like, yeah, help the kids. I hope that. It's going to be very revealing to those who dissent to this. Very revealing. So, you know what? In the spirit of joy and celebration, I also want to just make sure that everybody who covers this type of content is thanked. Okay? And I mean everybody. All the assholes who cover me too and do hate videos about me, thank you. Okay? Everybody who I've never even heard videos about doing this, big content creators who are coming out and talking about this, thank you. And a lot of people are like, Josh, you're not the one who started this. I'm not the one who started this. I'm not the leader of this damn thing. Not at all. But I want to just make sure that I'm also thanking all those people that are covering this. Because this is a big moment for all of us. And it doesn't even pay me to say that. Those people who chain smoke in front of their kids and like who are disgusting D-bags on the side, who are just like gross anyway, you know what I'm saying? Those people cover me. At least they're still talking about this. Okay. And so I definitely want to make sure that you guys are aware that I'm thankful for every single person that covers this, that talks about it, regardless of your attitude towards me. We all deserve a pat on the back for this. Okay. We all bring tons of awareness to this. We're all doing that together, but you guys just aren't funny. Anyway, so, and I want to thank you guys. This is a big effing deal for the Dad Challenge podcast channel and the people who watch this channel. This is a huge deal because my voice does not get as loud as it gets right now without you guys subscribing to this channel and watching me, spreading it, commenting for the algorithm, going on Instagram and sharing it, doing all those things to help me elevate my voice. I remember when I first started covering fathering autism, and I'll never forget this, such a pivotal moment on this channel, where he told me I'd never be able to sit at the same table as him. And now here I am talking about this stuff, and I'm more educated than I ever have been, and I've learned so much over the past year and a half. It's mind-blowing. And that's just kind of how I learn anyway. I learn by doing, by seeing, by experiencing, and now I honestly believe that I know more about this than a lot of people because I just had to watch that shit. Okay. And I brought some good professionals on like Dr. Kirk Honda. Thank you so much, Dr. Kirk Honda, an amazing guy from psychology in Seattle. I love that guy. And so, and you, every single one of you who watch this, who are passionate about the same thing, who get upset with me, who laugh with me, who cry with me, who experience all these roller coaster emotions with me. Thank you so incredibly much for being here. Look, I do get paid for doing this. I will never lie about it. It's a great side hustle. Puts my wife through school. It does all that stuff, but it's really not the reason I do this. Like I could walk away tomorrow and I'll be fine with it. Okay. But honestly, I do this because of what just happened here. This is a big deal. And now I'm not saying I am the reason this happened, but my voice has added to this conversation and so has a lot of other people. So I don't want to diminish any of that. So, wow. This is huge. Guys, spread this on all of your social medias, not this video, you can if you want, but the bill, I'll link it below. You make sure I'll highlight those little portions maybe. The whole thing, you can read it, but just make sure people know on that when you're sharing on your platforms what it is. Give them, the high level overview or the cliff notes. Basically, this means that kids are going to be protected online for parents to not be able to exploit them anymore. It's a big deal. It's a good place to start. And now social media companies are going to have to start hopping onto this and start saying, oh, how can we avoid lawsuits in the future? Like, are they really going to want kids to come when they turn 18 to say, I want you to go through all the content, every photo of me on your search engine, every photo of me in your video platform, every photo of me on your social media platform, I want it deleted. I think that if this does take hold and has teeth, I think you're going to see social media companies say, we just don't want it on here. We don't want the future problems. It's not worth it. In the end, if it affects their bottom line, they're going to cut it. What I'm hoping for is that this has enough teeth where YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and all the major platforms just start saying, if your kid is a minor and you can't fulfill these thresholds of all these things, we don't want it on here. That's what I'm hoping for. So it's a good start, everybody. And congratulations to you for being here. Just take a deep breath. This is a good one. This is a really deep breath we need. Well, all the things that we've talked about on this channel, of all the people that we've snarked on, made fun of, called out, been made aware of, and the disgusting things that we've seen, and the amount of craziness that parents don't understand that they're putting their kids through, this is a very pivotal moment in this entire anti-family vlogger community. Huge deal, everybody. Celebrate. Let's go get a birthday cake or whatever. I have some nice vitamin C juice. It's delicious. But you guys are so important in this conversation. Again, none of us who cover this stuff on these channels are nothing without you watching us. None of us are. Your social media currency matters. And so thank you for giving yours to me. It means the world. You just have to sit a minute and pause and think about the things that we've been talking about. And sometimes you wake up and you're like, am I really doing anything? Are we really doing anything on this platform? you know, we can continue all day covering it. And yeah, there's been some people, you know, 5, 10, 15 vloggers have started to take their kids down. I love it. The conversation's starting to get out there where people are starting to say, people are learning what informed consent means. It is a huge deal. And just, I want to just soak this moment in for a second. I love it. I hope this shit passes. Let's follow it together. Thank you for being here. I'll see you tomorrow.